Good morning. I just got off the phone with my clients, a really conscientious school owner who's behind a few months in rent and needs some help. And so some of the things I was talking with him about are things that I've been talking about for some time, and he somehow missed them. And so I'm going to guess that maybe some of you have missed it too. So I'm going to take it while it's fresh in my mind and regurgitate it here so that you can listen to it as your schedule allows. The first point I made was that you have to look at your work in your school on a daily basis. And you have a certain amount of action you can take every day, because if you look at the big picture, it can be a little bit overwhelming. Sir, how many new students do you want to sign up a month? And he said on the average it was 10. Now mine would be 30, but his was 10, and that's okay. So that's a student every other day, 20 working days a month. So how many leads do you need to sign up 10 students? Well, you need 20 leads if you're efficient, and maybe 30 or 40 if you're inefficient. So what are you doing every day? Let's break it down to a daily basis. Now, this particular instructor wasn't really familiar with my concept of 10 acts a day, 3 leads a day, 1 entire student body review a week, and 1 meaningful contact a month. But you can find these videos on the New Way Network's site. I suggest you look at them because they include in them the materials you need so you don't suffer in your school, so you don't get months behind in rent, so you know what to do specifically every day to build your school, to build a healthy income, and to stay out of the red. So the other thing was that I asked him what he'd been doing for marketing, and generally he was marketing same old stuff, I think, focus, concentration, all those things we talk about as benefits. And he had done a parade recently, but they had not acquired any contact information, but had passed out a lot of stuff, which is fine and all good and dandy and a part of anybody's marketing campaign. So what I really coached him on was, I said, listen, you have to get up Monday morning and you have to have a reason to be on a mission in your community. There are problems out there. There are kids committing suicide, diabetes is an issue, anger is destroying people's lives, people are obese or they're not getting exercise, and it has a consequence. And you have to put yourself on a mission. Now, in this particular case, let's say that he had 10,000 kids in his school district. Well, there's 10,000 people you must teach something to keep them from being hurt. Now, what do I mean by hurt? I mean, someone's going to be murdered in your community. And hopefully not, but someone's being murdered somewhere. If you're Google alerting rape and bullying and teen suicide like I am, someone right over in the next town committed suicide from bullying. Someone over, a county over, a state over, was raped and brutally murdered. Do you have to wait for that to happen in your own backyard? There's a fellow who was the catalyst for starting everything self-defense. His daughter, Allie Kemp, was brutally raped and murdered, and this man, instead of going insane, went on a mission, and I think at last count he had taught 38,000 women. He'd gathered the resources and the people. Do you have to wait for your child to be murdered to go on a mission to save lives? I don't think so. I don't think it's ever a position you want to be in. But this is part of your job duty as a martial arts teacher, or commissioned to teach self-defense. You can be, at least you can see yourself that way. So does somebody have to burn up in your town to teach kids how to get out of their house safely? Does your own son or daughter have to contract diabetes for you to go out and keep other kids from doing it? You don't have to do this. All you have to know is that it's happening and that your job is to prevent it. And children defend themselves with their heads. And it's education in advance, not after the fact. The point of all this dialogue is that you have to have a reason to contact people in your community. You have to have a fire under your behind that gets you to go out and contact people who interact with a lot of other people. The mayor, the head of the Boys and Girls Club, the head of the YMCAs, the top counselors, school administrators. But you have to have something that you bring them that they say, you know what, we need that. We need that very badly. And The other day I sent out a note on the New Way Network that said one of the social networkers was suggesting this formula of 12 to 1, that you talk about 12 other people and what they're doing for every one time you talk about yourself. And I'd say the same thing in your community. You go out and give people help and solve problems 12 times for every time you promote your school. Now, most people just promote, and what are they selling? They're selling an introductory pass or something that's, has some value, but it's not like saving lives. I think you need to find your sense of mission. Now, all my work is about bringing what could be your mission, but I want you to find your own mission. I want you to feel strongly about something, so when you go out and teach it, you're not doing it just to make a profit. You're not doing it just to sign up a student, although I fully expect you to sign up students by meeting people. One person in every 100 is going to come be a student. You got to meet a lot of people. But I want you to go out and do something because you're a man on a mission. I want it to be the right intention, and I want people to recognize your work for the power of it. And you'd be the go-to person in your community. Now that is marketing, and that's all we're working on. And the mechanics of how to deliver that on a day-by-day basis. You have to have a reason that you're going to get up Monday morning and you must record 2 or 3 videos. You must search the news for things that you can prevent happen. You must connect with the mayor because you've got something that nobody else has. You've got a conviction and a mission, and that's the kind of marketing I want you to do. Because it does good. It's the right thing to do. And yes, of course you're going to talk about your school. Yes, of course you're going to encourage people to come. You're going to host events at your school. You're going to do things that nobody else is doing because you need a reason to go out and meet lots of people. And you're going to be a great instructor, but you have to learn how to be a great helper in your community. Forget about marketing. Forget about sales. Go out and help people, and then market and sell while you're there, because that's going to happen. I want you to go to thenewwaynetwork.com, and I want you to study the videos there. It's like a book. This isn't a website anymore. It's a book. It's the book. And it's a book that changes almost every day, that has a huge, many chapters, that has a lot of contributors. You don't just get one person's opinion. I want you to go to this book, and I want you to contribute your own chapters, and I want you to read what's happening, and I want you to recognize that 3 weeks from now, it'll be almost completely changed from what it is today. And this is your daily training center. It's your daily coaching. It's your coming to the site for a touchstone to make sure you're staying focused, and it's a place where you can get help. But do not get 3 or 4 months behind on your rent. Get 1 day behind and freak out. If you don't get 3 leads a day in your business, you don't eat a meal. And we'll see how many meals you miss before you start really getting assertive. If you wait for 2 or 3 months to ask for help or to really get desperate, it's way too late. It's probably too late. What I want you to do is, if you go 2 or 3 days without reaching your goals, you're on the phone and go, my God, it's 2 or 3 days, I haven't gotten my goals. You have to always have a plan B. Staff was at its best. Everybody had a plan B. They knew they had to get 3 leads that day, and if it didn't come in, the next day when I came in and we started discussing the previous day, they told me what they did for Plan B. It was 5 o'clock, we hadn't had any leads, and so I assembled 40 envelopes with 10 guest passes in each, and I had John Smith stand by the door during that 6:30 class, and he passed each one. I went out and gave a talk in every class, and then I went back through appointments that had missed over the last month, and I not only did I phone them, I sent them an email, and I also sent a mail package because we have their address with some guest passes too. So they always had something they were doing if they weren't meeting their daily goals, and that way we never got that far behind. I hope this lecture has helped you, and you don't stand under the tree and wait for it to fall in your hands. You got to climb up there and shake it and grab that fruit, and we're here to help you at the New Way Network. Call and ask for help before you get too far behind, and know what your daily goals are. And when you don't meet your goals, that's when you panic. If your children are starving, you're going to be totally motivated in a way that you wouldn't normally be. The thing about being in a martial arts school is you can go for a long period of time without really suffering too bad, and all of a sudden, boom, it hits you. You've got to remember that it's daily. Daily, you've got to get down to that place where if you recognize that if you don't get those 3 leads a day, you are starving. And you have to be highly motivated to change that. And it's easier to do if you pay attention to the days and don't let them add up to be months.